Another day, another tier list. I'd done a tier list just a couple days ago, and apparently people actually enjoyed it. Had some good views. Not everybody agreed with it, which is absolutely fine. But I had more positive comments about it than negatives, and people also actually were very respectful and even left some constructive feedback and so on some of those comments. So if I didn't answer to you on any of those comments, do not worry, I am reading through them. But sometimes, now with the kid, I also work at the events company, then I have to juggle my entire schedule to try only to be on the computer when I'm streaming and then trying to do videos at the same time. It's a whole big mess, so sometimes I don't have the time to answer the comments, but I do see those comments, okay? Do not worry. So today I decided to do the second tier list, like I promised you guys that I would do, which now it will be for tanks. And why but I decided to go for tanks? Because I feel like tanks are the second best class in the entire game. You got damages and flanks being very similar, with a couple differences when it comes to mobility maybe, and maybe some burst damage and so on. Maybe some of them have more CC than the others, or more AoE, whatever. Their functionality is simple: deal damage, get kills. Tanks create space, pull people back, hold point, and save your team. It's a very complicated, not very complicated, but very complex sort of class, right? So I'm just gonna pull here the camera down to the bottom so we don't block a lot of what I'm doing. And I'm gonna do here similar to what I did on the last one. So I'm gonna put this one very good. Actually, let's just put it OP. Then we're gonna put good, average, bad, and really bad. And essentially this will just be tanks, and I'm gonna delete this one here. Well, there we go. Pretty simple, straightforward. Again, those champions, forget it. Those are not to be on the tier list. So let's go by order and let's talk about Atlas. What do I feel like? And just to make sure that I'm actually saying the same thing over and over, because people tend to forget, this is a personal tier list, which means that it's my opinion and my way of viewing these champions and the experience I have with them. It will be mostly competitive because in casuals is a super hot mess, okay? But it will be especially towards let's say a middle elo there of diamond, low middle diamond in competitive, okay? So this can still get into your elo if you're very low elo, and very much likely people at high elo don't even care about my tier list, because why would I be teaching them anything at all or giving them any sort of opinions when they already have their own opinions formed, right? So just to get that out of the way, all right? So let's start off with Atlas, and I'm gonna put that guy right up there at OP. And the reason why I gotta put him at OP is because he has some of the best functionalities in this game, and they're all reserved to him. Just the fact that you can revert HP already makes it super strong. Then he's a hit scan. He can work both close range, medium range, and long range if you have the aim for it. It does have the unfortunality, if you want to call it like that, of having to do everything really well timed, because sometimes you might want to revert somebody, rewind somebody, but you're already pre-firing a long shot, so you're gonna have to let go of that shot to have time enough to do the animation of the rewind. I feel like a lot of people don't know how to use his ultimate, so I'm gonna be honest, I think Atlas is a hard champion to master, but he's definitely OP. This guy can actually be played as a point tank. Not 100%, not all the times, not every map is a map for that, especially with the recent changes to the big wall, which just made it, I think, worse than it was before, because they ended up reverting the cooldown. But essentially, he can do a lot. He's super good at being an aggressive tank, and he's also super good at making sure people stay dead. Right, you got somebody like a Terminus, guess what? Get rewind, get back to 1 HP, die. You got that Makoa who was trying to be smart and just trigger his ultimate and then canceled it straight away. No longer CC immune, doesn't have resilience, rewind his ass all the way back to the low HP he had before he triggered the ultimate. And so many different scenarios. You have a Raum that can run away, toss a deja vu into him. Got Ruckus, same scenario. Nyx is actually really weird interactions, so one day I'll try to record a video with those two, but I'll tell you one thing, Atlas totally beats her ass. So, that is it for Atlas in my opinion. I think he's super good, really hard to play, but really, really, really good. Now let's go on to Barik, and I'm gonna put him at good. Now, the reason why I'm going to put him good and not OP is just because there's champions that delete this guy super easy, right? If you have a Cripples Inara, as soon as this guy is ready to go with the rocket boots and try to trigger with a failsafe, guess what? She's going to say no. That's it. You got a Betty spamming on point, this guy can't stay alive for 3 seconds. So, in certain scenarios, he's really, really good. He's one of the best tanks to pick as point tank, definitely. But he will suffer against characters like, for example, like a Tyra, who will put the fire on point. He has to move away. Then you have, for example, Nyx just being there, constantly punching him, doing AoE and cripples and so on. You're trying to run away and you're just getting destroyed. You got, for example, Betty's and Dredges just spamming you on point. Grok, if you don't have your shield up, can actually abuse your totems to do damage to you. So it's a big, big mess, but he can be really, really good. All right, so yeah. And yeah, Barik into controllers, rip, because big head. Makoa has a bigger head and easier to hit, actually, to be honest. Ashe, I'm gonna put Ashe at average, just because I feel like Ashe is really, really good. But at the same time, she doesn't work every time. Anytime that there's somebody like, let's say, a Khan, a Makoa, maybe a Cripples Nara, a Nyx, who now is a perfect counter to her, an Azaan, what am I missing here? An Atlas, like anybody who can just wait her out for her dash, that's it. You're done. An Atlas, for example, has the particularity to actually rewind her out of her ultimate to finally kill her. She has some pretty good functionalities to her, like for example her main fire being AoE means that she can apply cauterize to a lot of people, but the explosion is not that big. She used to do more damage with the other talent, but they removed all of that, the slug shot I think. So nowadays people they usually will go with either the shoulder bash talent or the shield talent, but with all the spammy that's been going on, like BK just been sort of reworked, buffed recently, like Dredge, Cassie with Wrecker, Shalens, Drogos, Tiberius, they will delete her shield in seconds. She does have one thing that I find really weird, is the fact that you can have your shield up constantly for less than 3 seconds of cooldown between shields if you have somebody close to you. So against maybe like an Inara, or a Nyx, or even a Terminus, if you time out your right clicks well, you can actually be there all day with shields. But guess what? These people also can walk right through your shield. So it works and it doesn't work. She doesn't have any range. She can work in certain maps. She's a great off tank. Not really good as a point tank, but you know, she's there. You know, she can be used, but she has a lot of counters, unfortunately. All right, so on to the next one, Fernando. I'm going to put Fernando in good. Not going to put him in OP because many people would just be playing Aegis. And what happens is as soon as the record 3 hits late round, this guy does nothing. Literally does nothing. His ultimate is like the most valuable thing you can have. Part of the reason I have a playstyle with Fernando, which is it has the 5 points on the card of cooldown reduction on the fireball. And some people don't understand that. Like, you're a point tank. Why are you doing that? Listen. I understand that, but sometimes I need that a little extra range just to keep tossing those fireballs, to be able to help my team at long mid-range. If I can toss a fireball more consistently faster, it will give me a lot more value than holding my shield up like a straight bot in point. Okay, and yeah, the card that gives you extra HP is definitely very good. I'm probably going to rework my loadouts to have both of those in there. But I'm going to be honest, Guardian, bad. What's it called? The card that increases the speed of recovery of your shield, bad. Just a waste of points in my opinion. And the best cards he has right now, which are fantastic and keep him moving, but unfortunately you can't have, at late game, you can't have your shield up constantly, is the card that reduces the cooldown of the dash and then have some speed after the dash, so you can keep yourself mobile, go in, go out, run away from point, go back in, and so on. But definitely not OP. I mean, listen, Atlas can get his entire HP back. He can be CC immune on his ultimate while walking away, forbid people from moving or even trying to contest points. He can use it to survive to CC ults. So can Fernando. Fernando can save some people. But it's what I'm telling you. If this guy is just holding his shield, late game, record 3 is... Fernando's not in the game anymore. Inara, surprisingly enough, goes all the way to OP. Who would have thought? Right? Because she was already good, but then she got it buffed on top. And now she's one of the most disgusting tanks in the game. Anytime I play ranked, I actually have to ban her, because guess what? She doesn't die. She just doesn't die. She has a crap ton of extra heals, like a Fury is healing for 2,000, 3,000 HP. She pulls out her shieldy thing, or not Earthen Guard, but the defense, you know what I'm saying. With the Mother's Grace talent, and boom, you get healed for like 4,000. You get full HP straight away. It's insane, right? Then you get the card that increases your HP, making you like a 5,000, almost 5,500 HP, plus Veteran, plus Haven, plus all that DR, plus Rejuvenate, plus the shield. Her shield is actually one of the best shields in the game. Unfortunately, it does not allow you to shoot through it, but it's a lot harder to destroy because people don't buy Bulldozer. That's just it. People don't buy Bulldozer, so that shield can actually be super good. Not to mention how many kills you can get from just trapping people or blocking them from even going to treasure point. So definitely OP. She deserves that spot up there. Con, good. Really good, actually. Not OP, but really good. He got buffed recently, he heals for more, he does more damage, he has less cooldown on his battle shout. So right now, on console, he's the drain tank. But the thing is, on PC, he's also really good right now. Alright, she nothing. He is not like the must-have, you have to pick this before anything else, but it definitely is a good addition as an off-tank. And if you can have something that you can counter, let's say like for example the Ashe, then yes, even better, because you're gonna have a lot more value. Alright, he's a hit scan, you can pull off headshots, consistent, just applying cauterize. You have the entire mobility of like moving your enemies around as ever you please. He does have a tiny little bit of mobility, not that that's important, and he can actually support both him and his teammates. So that's actually fantastic. A lot of problems that people come up with Khan is that his heals are bad, but most of the people who try to use his heals are trying to use it when everybody's being cauterized, and therefore it doesn't do anything. Just wait, cauterize out, okay, and then use your battle shout. Pull up your shield, and then use your battle shout. You want to know another trick? You can have your shield up to use your ultimate. That's right. Hold your shield up, aim, press the ultimate. You'll be surprised. A lot of people don't know that. Makoa. I'm going to put this guy in average. I'm going to put him in average because the half shell did get nerfed. It can still work. But for Pluck, if you don't have a team comp that goes well with it, you're not going to do anything with Makoa. Makoa gets deleted fast. And if you're playing against champions that do headshot damage, guess what? His head is super easy to hit. Like, super easy, right? So he's not bad, but he's not super good, in my opinion. He can do really good if you have a good team, but that is team dependent. That is also map dependence, even sometimes. But other than that, he's really good. I definitely, if I had nothing else better to pick, I would definitely pick between Makoa, Ashe, and the next one that I'm going to say, which is Ruckus. Ruckus is fantastic, especially on maps like Serpent Beach, where you can just be on the tops of the maps and so on. But a lot of champions nowadays are very, very spammy and just do a crap ton of damage. Like, I just had a game where there was an Octavia and a Lex, and I guarantee you those both were on console, and they were shredding through me as Ruckus. I couldn't do anything. If I was on their screen for 1 second, 75% of my HP plus my shield would go away. It was disgusting, right? He does have the mobility better than many tanks out there. Like, his mobility is way better than Raum's, in my opinion at least, right? Because with Raum, if you miss your dash, somebody cancels that dash out, guess what? You're done. The Ruckus, you have two more, and the third one is already in cooldown, all right? So it's, in my opinion, a good Ruckus is insane, but there's not a lot of good Ruckus out there, and it's not a champion that you see being picked a lot. So there you go. Yagorath, I'm going to put it in real bad. really bad. Did I type that wrong? Did I type really bad? How dare you? Okay, I'm lying. I'm gonna put her in bad. Not in really bad, but I'm gonna put her in bad. Why? Because the easiest counter to Yago is burst damage. And if you guys have ever seen anything of what's been happening lately due to cross progression on competitive, people have been going with stuff like Leons, Vivians, Victors, Tyras, Talus, Lex, Octavius, which is hit scan spam in my opinion. And then you also have Betties, Dredges, and like people are just spamming. So Yago needs an insane good positioning to survive. She will be deleted a second. Like if you can actually pull off a good ultimate in a diamond lobby in competitive with Yago, and you actually get the kill, that it's not this one person, the last person alive, and everybody else is dead. If you can actually pull that off, hats off. You know, I'm gonna take my head for you, because that's insane. That's amazing. All right. And apparently, yeah, there's also a bug that if you hit headshots, which is her mouth, if you hit headshots on her, it will ignore the DR that she has on standing. So that's even another easy way to delete her, because guess what? People like Leons, Lex, Nessas, Victors, Tyras, Vivians, and Octavius, all of them hit headshots. So all they need to do is just look into her beautiful teeth, and boom, she will get deleted in no time. And, you know, she's pretty slow to start moving, so what you gonna do? On to the next one. So, okay, I wanna talk about this, and I feel like a lot of people might be upset. There's definitely gonna be comments about this one, but I'm gonna drag Torvald into bad. Not very bad. I was not gonna put him in really bad. No, never. But I'm gonna put him in bad. And why? Because Torvald has a problem that not a lot of people see. When you pick a Torvald, and if there's already let's say like a Fernando, and you're picking Torvald, guess what's gonna happen? Everybody's gonna buy record. You are literally making that Fernando on your team suffer more because of you. Right? The only good times that I think that Torvald can be a good pick is when there's like something like a Vatu or a Seven or a Vora or a Maeve, and you can just babysit those guys. Right? You only ever want to run Torvald with Inara or Nyx, honestly. Thank you. So you see my point here. Even Nyx still has her shield, but it's not the same thing. Like, people don't buy record for her shield. In fact, people don't try to destroy her shield. They just wait it out like an Atlas wall or something. And, you know, she has other functionalities besides that. But Inara doesn't have to worry about record. But anytime you got a Barik or a Fernando, a Khan, a half-shell Makoa, and you bring in a second tank, which is Torvald's, guess what? Those people are going to be suffering because now everybody's going to buy Wrecker because you're playing Torvald. And they don't want to have to deal with the goddamn shields you're going to be putting on the flanks and DPSs that are going to be in your backline, right? So, unfortunately, other than that, he doesn't have anything good. His ultimate is pretty predictable. It is really rare to even have a triple kill with a Torvald ultimate and high elo. You don't see anybody insta-picking Torvald nowadays. You just don't. Even after the buffs he had, even after the HP, the shield buff he had, what am I gonna say? It's just, I'm sorry, it just doesn't bring a lot to the team. I'd rather see a Khan than seeing a Torvald. Like Torvald, like exactly. There's something in my chat just saying right now. Torvald doesn't create space. Torvald babysits somebody to create space. As soon as that is gone, guess what? Torvald is just literally just a pawn. It's just a bot to kill, right? And I'm sorry, he doesn't bring much to the table besides the goddamn shields. Oh, but he can silence an Eevee, a Vatu. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. Sure, that is also a good idea. There's a 7 or a Vatu that is super annoying with high mobility, and you can just silence the guy. That's okay. But as soon as he gets resilience, what else are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? His damage is bad. I don't see a functionality for him besides maybe giving some speed and like a little bit of HP that gets shut down late game. Wrecker just instantly destroys the shield and Cauterize shuts down the healing on the card. I know somebody who plays Torvald all the time, and guess what? Every time that I play with him, I don't win every single game. Why would I? Torvald doesn't bring anything new to the table. It might be a good, like, sort of tank support, which is good to play for somebody who wants to be a bit more chill, but that's it. He doesn't create space, and he definitely cannot hold point. I'm sorry. Maybe with a very good build, he could be an average, or even good, but other than that, I'm not going to put him anywhere else but bad. If anything, I would put him in really bad, but I'm not going to do that. Terminus, I'm going to put him in bad. Even with the entire console meta now happening, I feel like Terminus can only really work in certain maps, like maybe an Ice Mines map or something like that. And other than that, you don't see anybody picking... You don't see anybody picking Terminus. There's a bunch of different counters to him. You have Khan, Makoa, or Atlas straight away. Even a Nyx can just bully him around, just ping-pong him around, right? It's absolutely disgusting. He doesn't bring much to the table besides maybe just eating up some damage to other people not to get it. But that would be in close-range maps where people are literally standing right behind you, and you can catch those damages, those abilities, damage, projectiles, etc. But that's it. That's it. That's all he does. Maybe I've seen some people play Terminus with super speed and some DR, and he goes around just axing everybody. Guess what? Those people do not use their runes in order to maintain those things, and they die pretty easy if you start focusing them. Right? His ultimate is super easy to predict. He doesn't get kills with his ultimate, that's the first thing. Then if you have like something like a Drogoz, he's just gonna get his ass after his ultimate is done. You got an Atlas, he's gonna rewind him. You got a Khan, grab him, toss him off the map. Like, I can't count the amount of counters there is to Terminus. Alright? He could have been really, really good on console because there was a bug that he would disable aim assist if you looked at the power siphon. But other than that, I'm sorry, I don't know. Besides Ice Mines, I don't know what else I can grab Terminus and do good with. Raum. I'm gonna put him in average. This is I don't know. I really want to put him in between average and bad because his damage is bad. The only good thing that people have been playing with him is for the worldwide global heals that you can pull off. So I can't really put him up there. I just can't. I'm sorry. I'm actually going to pull him down here. Because the healing got nerfed. His damage is garbage. The only thing he's good at is to destroy a Barik ult. That's the only goddamn thing I can see him pull off. Like, wait for the Barik and ult him. That's it. That's the only thing. He's a damage sponge. You're giving ultimates to your enemies. Alright? People are literally just harvesting you for ults. And he has the exact same way to be countered as Yago. The only reason why Yago is a bad and not actually at really bad is because she can actually do damage in many more ways than Raum can. Her ultimate can actually be a game changer if done correctly, only in certain times that you cannot be countered. She has good mobility that, you know, even if she does lose her acceleration, she can still move around. And her sonar is actually amazing because it's a AoE Tyra mark. And that's why I think that's what she's at bad and not at really bad. Okay? Azaan, I'm going to put him at good. I'm not going to put him at OP. I'm not going to put him at OP, but I will put him at good. Why? Because this guy is completely bugged. First of all, his dash will actually stun people who are CC immune. If you've never seen this, grab go on a 1v1 custom with somebody playing Vora, ask them to ult, and then dash against them with your Azaan, and you'll see what I'm talking about. She'll do the stun animation, right? Then if you have your walls and somebody's standing behind the walls hugging them, and you dash against that little between two walls where they're standing, they will be teleported to the inside of the walls, and vice versa. If they're standing inside of the walls and you dash against them, they will go teleported to the outside of the walls. Then sometimes the stuns don't hit. Then his right click actually works like a cripple because that knock-up actually cancels movement abilities. Guess that's just normal. I mean, Buck does the same thing with Bounce House, I guess. Whatever. And then you have his ultimate, which not only is it insanely buggy, you can actually use it to get out of the map in certain situations, which is stupid, but yeah, I could actually do it. You can get yourself killed or actually get out of the map for no value at all. And you can actually move Luna and Yago on standing form with his ultimate. Alright, and then this guy has DR all the time. He has pretty good damage. The most mobility I've ever seen in a goddamn tank. This guy can dash up to the sky, uses ultimate to go to the other side of the map. Do you know how many skipping of the map from one side to the other I've seen? There's actually a video out there. You can go and check it out right now where people can actually use his ultimate to actually go from spawn to point. Like that. Like 75% of the maps all have it. I think that they actually managed to fix a couple of them because of that video. But there is so many... I hate Azaan with a passion. The only reason I'm not going to put him at OP is because if you try to use this guy for maybe like point tank, he's dead. That's it. He's garbage. Alright? And, you know, if you don't have experience with him, you can be... It's like you're driving a Mercedes with a scooter's license. It's essentially that. Alright, and finally, I should have created a tier list, a little tier up there, specifically just for Nyx, because what the hell is this, dude? What is this champion? I'm sorry, I complained since Nyx came out. I've complained that she was bad. She wasn't doing hits, she was doing fake hits, the no reg. She was knocking people away from her when she does more damage at close range, and I did a whole video about it if you guys remember. That was stupid. They ended up changing that and making it a cripple. She has a cripple every 3 seconds. She's worse than Shaolin right now. I can't stress this enough. I hate Shaolin for how much he can apply CC at all times. This girl does the same thing, but better and faster. The card that reduces the cooldown of her cripple, guess what? It actually works on shields! Oh, Hi-Risk a couple years ago, we're gonna make sure the cards don't work on shields and deployables. Nyx comes out, you what now? This is the same situation as Caspian. Caspian was triggering his cards on shields and deployables, and she's doing the exact same thing. She can shoot a shield, a deployable, anything with a red outline, guess what? Reduces the cooldown of a right click. What do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus, Whew. Then she has a card that increases the size of the right click of the rift. That it's bugged. It doesn't even show visually to where it goes. People just start taking damage, and they're like, "What is going on? The circle is right there, but I'm standing like 2 meter away, and somehow I'm still being hit by it because it's bugged. It's actually bugged." And everybody's been picking her because of her entire damage mitigation, so on. If you have a good healer or double healer, this champion is almost impossible to kill. It is disgustingly good, right? Everybody, you'll see this. Go into competitive. If you're somebody who's like Plat Diamond, you'll see. Everybody's always trying to secure Inara or Nyx. It's always the same goddamn thing. If those two are not available, it will always be Barik and Fernando. And if those are done, then people usually tend to go for like a half-shell Makoa, maybe an Atlas, who is really bad as a point tank, by the way, and maybe a Con. I've seen people try to play Con point, and usually Ashe. Shield, okay? Those are the champions you'll see that will be insta-locked or looked for. People are all going for Nyx and Inara. It's disgusting. Sometimes I just ban them both because I don't want to see this every single match. Okay, she has 1 HP of 1 bar of HP, 1 little HP, and she still survives somehow. And the only thing that right now is holding her back from being the most disgusting, absolute disgusting thing is the fact that she can no longer counter Droga's ultimate. That's the last thing. Alright, because if they bring back that, then, I mean, she's going to be instant-banned every match. She doesn't have, like, insanely good range, but she can hold damage from across the map like nothing. To use your royal presence, you take all that shield, all that damage into your personal shield, right? You start taking that HP starts to go down, use your ultimate, get your HP back. Or you don't have your ultimate, guess what? Put the shield up, your healer is going to heal you back up. Should be fine. Oh, you got a Barik. Barik is trying to run away with his rocket boots. Boom, right click. No, you're not. No, you're not. Oh, it's an Atlas. The Atlas is trying to rewind. No, you're not. You ain't going nowhere, son. Oh, by the way, I can slow you down as well while we're at it. Or how about a 3-second route? It's not a 3-second anymore. I think it's a 2-second, 225 or something. But still, like, how about an insta route? Everybody loves those, right? And like the only champions that had roots back in the day were Imani, which still has it, Grover, which had to be reworked because it was so disgusting. And what else other champions had roots? I don't think there was anybody else with roots, right? Oh, I can't remember. No, Vorta's not a root. Vorta's a stun, silence, but not a root. Shot doesn't root roots. Yeah, no, she's one of the only champions with this mechanic. Her talent is a silence, Dennis. I'm not following. You silence, not root. Root locks you in place. That's the problem. That's the problem with roots for me, for example. But either way, folks, this is pretty much it. I am sorry for the people who main Raum, Yago, Torvald, and Terminus. You're gonna be pissed at me. But guess what? I really don't care. But other than that, that's my tier list for tanks. I might be wrong. I might be right. It might be the best tier list out there. It might be the worst. It doesn't really matter. It's a personal tier list. So thank you so much for watching. All right. Tell me that in the comments below. There's like 14 tanks, I think. So you can tell me what your personal tier list is. And then I'll be looking through it during the day. And I'll be back with the damage tier list and then the flank tier list whenever I have the time. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, have a wonderful time.